The 2023 season has been full of record-breaking and a lot of boring races. I was originally going to rate every single race, but considering that only 4 races were actually worth re-watching, I decided to rank every driver because this actually has some good performances. So here it is, ranking every single driver from worst to best in the 2023 season. 22nd on the list is unsurprisingly Nick de Vries. After a stunning performance at Monza in 2022 after Alex Albon's appendix decided it didn't like existing anymore, there was a lot of pressure on Nick de Vries and he did not impress. In the AlphaTauri, he crashed in Baku and then finished miles behind in every other race, so that's how he came last on this list. Just above de Vries is the pride of America and the spreader of freedom and democracy in F1, Logan Hunter Sargent. Throughout the season he never out-qualified Albon, but did begin to perform better throughout the season. Although he was still far off cars that were slower than him, he did have good moments, which does save him alongside with it being his rookie season overall. Next on the list is Kevin Magnussen. After getting his maiden pole in Brazil, it looked like he would improve into 2023, but only got 3 points to finishes and was consistently being knocked out in Q1, although he was closer to other cars than Sargent, which allows him to finish just above the American. In 19th place is Lance Stroll. After breaking both his wrists just before the first race, he made a great recovery, but in the next few races was retiring and not scoring points, whilst his teammate, Alonso, was getting podiums. The rest of the season was mediocre and he never really challenged any cars on the same level. At least he did make Max Verstappen proud at Qatar after he shoved his mechanic. Keeping the theme of drivers who perform badly in good cars, Sergio Perez looked like a title contender in the first 5 races after winning 2 of them, until Monaco when he crashed, and then from there he was off the pace and finished off the podium more times than on it, whilst in the best car, and whilst his teammate was winning races by over 30 seconds. In 17th we have Valtteri Bottas, who struggled in an uncompetitive Alfa Romeo and was underperforming consistently, whilst similar drivers were scoring points. He did have some good races, but overall he was not where he should have been. To his credit, the work he has done off track is great. 16th goes to Zhou Guanyu, who raced alongside Bottas for the entire season. He did have some better performances than Bottas, but overall was on an equal level. He scored fewer points during the season, but is slightly above Bottas due to him having a similar season, but with just a little bit less experience. 1 place above Zhou is Nico Hülkenberg. After scoring all but 3 of his points in Australia after a chaotic race, he would only get 1 more point to finish, but he regularly outperformed his teammate in a car that would qualify well but had bad race pace. After almost scoring points regularly in a bad car, he is placed 15th. 14th goes to Daniel Ricciardo. After losing his seat after 2 awful seasons with McLaren, he went to Red Bull as a third driver and was brought back in to replace Nick de Vries. He put in some good performances, but a broken wrist prevented him from proving himself more, but showed his potential at Mexico with a 6th place finish. He would have been higher, but the gap to Tsunoda makes him hard to rate. Then we have an Alpine back-to-back with Ocon placing 13th and Gasly 12th. Much like the Alfa Romeo drivers, they were extremely close. Both drivers were towards the bottom of the points every race, but they both got a podium throughout the season, and both drivers did collide with each other and both had reliability issues. Ocon just loses out though, due to a high number of mistakes throughout the season compared to Gasly. 11th is George Russell, who throughout the season was consistently behind his teammate. He was at fault for many accidents, one of which being crashing on the final lap in Singapore, which did cost him a podium, as these sort of mistakes and inconsistencies that places him 11th. In 10th is Charles Leclerc, who had a season marked with mistakes and allowed Ferrari to ruin his race. Throughout the season he got multiple pole positions, but didn't defend his lead, such as Baku, Kota, Las Vegas, Spa and Mexico, which means that he drops down the list. In 9th is Liam Lawson, who substituted him for Ricciardo when he broke his wrist. He unlapped himself in Zandvoort against the best car in F1 history before almost scoring points in Monza, and then knocking Verstappen out in Singapore before scoring points. He had great performances when he was not expected to, and put himself at the top of the list for next season in terms of driver replacements. We head back to Ferrari for Carlos Sainz, who had a season marred by Ferrari mistakes and bad luck, but made up for it with a comeback at Las Vegas and a win in Singapore when he not only outplayed Russell when he was just behind him, but 2 places behind him. Yuki Tsunoda had a great second half of the season, proving that he was going to grow out into the role that AlphaTauri needed. He was off the pace in the awful car at the start of the season, but proved he was on the pace with a doubles points finish at the start of the season, before pulling the team up the standings at the end of the season to challenge Williams. With one of the greatest rookie seasons, Oscar Piastri raced with maturity and calmness, and this led him to win the sprint at Qatar and getting 2 podiums whilst constantly scoring points. He was let down by a bit of bad luck throughout the season, but was very consistent in his first season to get 6th on this list. Another driver who had a great rookie season back in 2007 was Lewis Hamilton, who earns 5th on this list. The 7-time world champion had a season that was dictated by the car, as the early and end of the season were full of struggle, but the midpoint had many podiums. He was consistently above Russell and dragged Mercedes just above Ferrari in the championship. The final spot below the podium is Fernando Alonso. After a great first few races where he would consistently get podiums, the Aston car would fall back through the pack. But Sigma Alonso would not give up, as he would constantly score points that led to him finishing 4th in the championship. And he did this whilst becoming the god of TikTok and being 42 years old. On the bottom spot of the podium is Lando Norris. Similar to Piastri, Norris looked poor as the McLaren struggled in the early season, but once upgrades were introduced, Lando shined. He took the lead in the opening lap at Silverstone, had multiple podiums. Had it not been for Verstappen's insane season, Norris would have easily won at least one race. Taking the runner-up spot is Alex Albon. Throughout the season, Albon shined, regularly scoring points and pulling Williams back up the grid with performances such as Canada, where on old hard tyres he held a faster car for 20 plus laps, which was just one of the great performances he put on all season. The best driver of 2023 needs no discussion. Max Verstappen has dominated this year, winning 19 races and winning almost every single race by upwards of 10 seconds. He scored more than double the points of the runner-up in the championship and fully deserves his spot as the best driver of 2023 by miles. Thank you so much for watching. If you have noticed that last week there was no video, it was just because of burnout and the latest video coming out. If you have enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If you haven't, please tell me why in the comments below and I'll see you later.